Hey everybody, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Edmonton, Canada. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, Quintana Roo, HOKA One One, Forum Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Premium Plus Sports, and our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guests, Paula Findlay, Eric Lagerstrom. Paula, this is your hometown, and we've got probably the biggest prize purse in history, the Canadian Open, with I don't know, $1 million? How cool is that?
Yeah, it's really exciting to be rolling into town. Feels like I'm just coming home to visit, but there's a huge race in 3 days. So trying to keep my mind in that mindset. But it's so exciting to have the first inaugural PTO event in Canada in Edmonton and tons of money on the line.
Well, and in your hometown is the best.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And you know every inch of every road here, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I grew up here, went to university here, and basically rode my bike to university up the hills that we're going to be riding up. So I know it pretty well, and yeah, it's a beautiful course. My mom designed a lot of it, or she's the race director. So.
Really? Your mom's a race director?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a family thing.
I like that. And you raced here a lot, WTS races, right?
Yeah, I've done quite a few of them. Actually, I did the first World Cup when they had it here. I don't even remember when that was, 2014 or something like that. So yeah, lots of good memories here in Edmonton for sure.
Well, and you've been on a little bit of a roll lately, getting your second Alcatraz champion.
Finally, yeah. It took a little while.
What was it, about 7 years in between?
Yeah, it was exactly 7 years in between. I've been ever since that race that you remember with Andy Potts. I've been just thinking I got to win that again before I leave the sport. So
what I love is Andy, I think, had won 6 times.
Yeah, I think he was going for number 7.
He was going for number 7. He had won in 2007, 8, 9, 11, 12, 14, but not in 15.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Eric got him at 15, and then Ben Canute was going for his 5th straight.
Yeah,
and you knocked him off.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that it worked out that way. I would have loved to have won all of those times in between, obviously.
Yeah.
But having it very fresh is super cool, and it's something I'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, and what it seems like, sort of the more unique the course is, the better you do. You like things that are, like when you go to the track and you're betting on horses, and it's a muddy track.
Yeah, I like the muddy track.
You're right. You like the muddy track.
Yeah. It seems to be the more inclement the weather and the more turns and terrible the roads are, handling. The more that I kind of enjoy that and see it as just like something else to think about and do and focus on versus an obstacle.
Yeah, and Paula, do you see this as a good course for him?
For Eric, absolutely. It's very technical and very hilly, more than people might have expected before they got here.
Yeah.
Because of the river valley, you climb in and out of it 3 times a lap, 4 laps total. So there's quite a lot of elevation gain. And I love climbing, but I don't love the technical side of things. But Eric is super good at descending, cornering, all of that. So when I saw this course, I thought of Eric immediately. He's going to love it. Yeah.
We both have to come here, and we both have to race.
Yes.
Yeah. And besides the fact that this is, a hometown race, the field is stacked. I mean, this is probably one of the better fields we'll see all year, don't you think?
Yeah, this and the U.S. Open in Dallas.
Yes.
It's like a world championship, really.
It really is.
When you put that kind of money up, everyone comes because we're all doing this to make a living. So the opportunity to win that much is just crazy to me, at least. And yeah, all the best guys are here. A lot of the best women are here.
Yeah.
There's some notable names that aren't on the start list, but I don't think that changes much. It's still
a
crazy, crazy competitive field, and I really can't predict who's going to win on either side, I don't think.
When I saw you after Collins Cup last year, I saw Eric was pushing you in a wheelchair through the airport, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
What was that injury, and how long did it take to come back from that?
Yeah, so I had a stress fracture in my foot leading up to Collins Cup. Thought it was better.
Know?
Yeah, I did for sure, but that was 8 weeks before that I had the MRI. So racing Collins Cup was borderline too soon to be racing after that kind of an injury. But I did it, and I felt okay in the race, but the day after was just really painful to walk. So yeah, wheelchaired home. That last year was kind of a rough season. I did come back after that and win Oceanside, but on hardly any run training. So what I'm mostly excited about here is being here fit and healthy and having basically a consistent 6 months of running under my belt. And I know I race best when I'm running consistently, not doing anything special, just training every day, not having to miss sessions. And that's the position I'm in right now. So it's exciting.
So during COVID, the one nice thing is that without racing, you could be consistent in training. Do you think that helped build a base for you?
Yeah, 2020 was amazing for both of us, I think, and just taking a mental break from the stress of racing. And then I came and won Daytona at the end of it. So I think that just proved to myself that taking some stress off, not worrying about racing, allowed me to be consistent all year. And I've honestly had a little bit of that mindset the last 5 weeks in our little training camp in Canmore of just not worrying about anything, training really consistently, running healthy, and now I feel good. So
what I loved is you win the first day. Well, you win Daytona when it's not the deepest field in the world. But then the next year, it's everybody, it's like $1.15 million and everybody's there.
Yeah.
And people are like, wow, Paula won last year, but it wasn't a deep field. And then you win again.
Yeah, it was completely unexpected for me and everyone else, and a strange year. You know, everyone was coming in and off of different access to pools and different years in their training, so no one knew what to expect. And I just had, an amazing day, and I don't think it will happen again like that. Like, I mean, it was a very unique feeling when you're running that well, that far ahead of everyone. It's super special. So
very, very special. But it also, people weren't predicting that you were going to win the thing, so you surprised not just yourself but everybody else. How did that change things for you? Because over the years and becoming an Olympian, and then pressure comes in and expectations. Do you feel now that you handle that better than maybe you did back then?
Yeah, I had no expectations leading into Daytona, and I'm never really first on anyone's mind on a start list because I get injured so much. So people are always unsure of what my performance will be like. This race is so different because it's a hometown race. So I'm a little bit the face of it along with Lionel. So I'm trying to not let that affect my lead up and my nerves and the pressure that I feel, because it is very different to be talked about as one of the top athletes versus just kind of sliding in under the radar. So completely different approach mentally. And that's why we've dropped in a little bit late to Edmonton. We just got here, and I'm just trying to keep it as low key as I can and not let the hype get to me in a negative way. So.
Yeah, it's funny. We were interviewing Alistair Brownlee a little earlier, and he was talking about, just London. Right, and they're everywhere they went. There's big billboards. And Alistair Brownlee, and for you here in Canada, and for you and Lionel, you have been sort of the face of this event, which is great. Because it's great to have $1 million prize purse in your hometown and in Canada. At the same time, that puts expectations.
A little bit, yeah. But at the same time, I think the support I have from this city goes far beyond me winning a race.
Of course.
People are going to come down and watch, and they love the sport. They don't remember if I win or lose or whatever. And it's just this feeling of support that I get from everyone that comes to watch and who's followed my career. So
I love it.
Yeah.
And so Big E, besides Alcatraz, 7th at 70.3 Chattanooga, 2nd LA Triathlon, 8th at 70.3 California. So very consistent year.
Yeah.
And what for the rest of this year, what are you looking at?
Well, this was honestly at the very top of my list. When I was kind of mentally making some goals for myself for this year, it was really go try to win Alcatraz and get to the Canadian Open. Just because Paula's got such history here, and it sounded like a course that would be fun, and I know Edmonton and everything. These were the two things at the top of my list. So I'm kind of getting through this, and then this will determine whether or not I get into the Collins Cup, whether I could go to the Dallas race or whatever. But I guess the only thing that's for sure on the schedule for the rest of the year is 70.3 Worlds, since I did qualify for that.
Very fun. And St. George should be a good course for you.
Yeah, I've always thought that. I've had 2 really terrible races there, and then last year getting 7th at Worlds. So on paper, it's always seemed like something that was good for me. But I think last year, maybe having lived in Bend for a year leading into that, and the altitude and everything, that's such an interesting place where a lot of people show up thinking that they're super ready to go, and then have these kind of inexplicable, weird performances. So I think hopefully all those are behind me, and really looking forward to just doing that course again, because it is a super fun entertaining bike course.
It's a mudder race, right?
Yeah,
it's
very
you have
cool.
to suffer, and there's going to be a lot of climbing and a lot of technical, and at the end of the day, the person who suffers the most is going to win the race.
And it's a huge field,
and that's that stuff.
Yeah, and it's just a big field, and that gets me excited. It's almost like if the field is big enough, you stop thinking about the eventualities of could I get second or third, and you just show up and race as hard as you can, because like I said, just like here, there's so many people who could win. You don't even know what's going on. You just go as hard as you can. And
what is it about Alcatraz that's so good for you?
I just think it's, I don't know, maybe I get bored easily. These races that are on a highway, my mind drifts or whatever.
And
yeah, Alcatraz, like you have something to focus on 100% of the time and make sure that you're taking a good line in the swim and getting out of the right spot and doing your transition and the hills just right, not hitting a pothole. That it's like constant mental stimulation, and you do need to really be a well-rounded technical fitness, like every part of being a triathlete.
You can't lose attention for 2 seconds out there.
Not
sand
at all.
ladder.
Yeah, you could legitimately go careening off a cliff. There's not a lot of races where you could potentially really hurt yourself like that. So
that is so fun. And how's the show doing?
TTL is doing great. We've got a lot of people who like are behind us and watch it and love it. And Flynn's here and everything. It's like we're over the moon with how well the whole thing's going.
So who's the bigger star, Flynn or you guys?
No, I mean, I don't get a lot of people commenting on the YouTube channel, like more shots of Eric, but we get weekly multiple comments.
Flynn.
More Flynn.
Less of you, more Flynn.
I'd say that's our number one indication of popularity.
That is so cool. And how hard is that to balance your training, your racing, your recovering, and oh, by the way, we've got to do an episode for Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, think about it a lot for sure. Like as compared to Lionel, for example, who has Talbot to make videos, and he's got a manager, and he's got Aaron kind of supporting. Whereas the two of us sort of like, Paula supports me with some cooking, and I support with taking some pictures, and we kind of like do the whole thing. And I do think there's probably a couple percentage points of performance for me to be gained, but then I also don't know if like on the balance happiness side, if that would cancel itself out, because I do love sharing our journey so much and being artistic with photos that, who's to say taking that away would make it any better.
And Paula, when just knowing you for a number of years, you're not the most outspoken type of person, but this show really brings out your personality. Was it hard at the beginning to have basically a camera in your face all the time and showing when you're high, when you're up, you're down, and maybe things you in the past wouldn't want to share?
Yeah, it's going on 2 years now. I'm fairly used to it, and Eric's really conscious of not having the camera out all the time. We plan out, when we're going to film certain things.
Right.
But it is an emotional roller coaster doing triathlon at the pro level, and I think that the reason people like watching it is because we do show the highs and the lows and days where I'm grumpy, or there are comments like that I'm grumpy, but that's just like
that's
everyone
real.
is.
I'm having a bad day. I just had a bad race. My workout wasn't good.
Exactly. So of course I don't always want a camera in my face, but I've recognized that it has built up our brand and our following and our ability to reach people and inspire them, and that's important as well. So it's totally fine to have the camera out most of the days. And Eric does all the work with the editing and all of that. I wish I could help more on that side of things. But yeah, like Eric said, I just do the cooking and the laundry to balance the workload.
It's been cathartic to sometimes, a lot of times we keep stuff in. You're able to talk to the camera and say, I'm really pissed right now, or I'm unhappy, I had a bad workout. And then it's sort of gone until people watch it.
Right. It lives on the internet forever, your bad workouts. Yeah, we don't put out a ton of videos of like the really bad. I mean, we don't have a ton of awful days. We're pretty happy, but it just makes it relatable, I think. Everyone has bad workouts, and it does help get it off my chest, and I have grown from that, I think, and learned a little bit that not one workout makes a big difference. And I learned that in 2020 as well, when no workout really mattered because there weren't any racing. You could just move on to the next thing and not dwell on anything that didn't go as well as you hoped.
Well, and at the end of the day, it's an entertainment business, right? So it's, yes, it's training, it's racing, it's our life, but you're wanting people to see you as real, and seeing you, and that's what you're doing. You're creating entertainment, you're creating followers, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. And we definitely want people to see us as ourselves. And if they meet us in person, we're exactly the same as we are on the videos. And same on we have a podcast now with our friend Nick, who's actually here.
Yes.
And that too, people can send in questions and we answer them in relatable ways and hopefully helpful. And just the community building aspect of it, I think we all three of us find really special and uplifting and inspiring to us as well. When we get to races, it's not just about if we're going to win or not. It's about kind of being there for the community and having people recognize us, and that's really cool, I think.
Probably one of the most impactful part for both of you is when someone comes up and says, I was 40 pounds heavier and I found your show and now I'm doing triathlon or I'm running, and thank you for what you do.
Totally, yeah, that's the coolest thing, and getting emails like that and having people wear our stuff and seeing that at races is just so cool. It's like almost surreal to see,
Yeah.
people racing in hats and stuff that says TTL on it. And it just makes all of the work behind the scenes to get this stuff into real life worth it.
Exactly.
So it's a lot of Eric though. He does so much of the work. It's crazy. It's not balanced.
Well, somebody's got to win the big races. So.
Oh, so you win the big races. Well, you're winning big races now too.
This has been a good. This has been a good year.
Eric's won more prize money than me this year, actually.
Oh,
This weekend might change that.
I love the fact that you can go like, it doesn't matter what place you get. You get, like,
Still make money.
Yeah.
Well, in a lot of
It's very
races,
cool.
it's $5,000 for first. Here, it's like what,
High five.
$15,000 for 10th or something.
Yeah.
No, wait, till 10 for 15th place.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
More than you get for winning a lot of races.
Yeah, it's really good. I think PTO is doing a great job of like actually making it so a higher percentage of pros can truly make a living and not just burn through savings. So.
I love it.
Yeah.
Congrats on the show, you guys.
Oh, thanks,
really,
Bob.
really fun. And if you guys haven't checked out That Triathlon Life, you need to do that. Very, very special. Take you inside life of two really, really fun people. Thanks you both for taking time.
Thank you, Bob. It's been a pleasure.
Eric and Paula have been our guests, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Edmonton. And where the hell is Finn? We'll be right back.